Why the NBA is scared of the Golden State Warriors. So in today's video, guys, we're going to be going through 5 crazy stories that are happening right now with the Golden State Warriors and whether I think it is a good decision, bad decision, and all in between. So before we get into it, make sure you like this video, and don't forget, if you want more Golden State Warriors content like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hitting that red button down below. Guys, 98% of you are still not subscribed, so it'd mean the world if you could subscribe to the channel. But let's get into the first story, and the first story is Stephen A. Smith calling out Jonathan Kaminga. So this was kind of interesting. This happened a couple of days ago, but Stephen A. Smith actually said this in an interview or on his ESPN show where he said, "I'm worried about Kaminga. I'm hearing too many things about him off the court. In terms of his head, the level of discipline that he lacks, some of the foolishness. I'm not getting in his personal business. I'm talking attitude. I'm not talking actions. I'm saying that attitude, the level of focus, commitment, determination, just putting your head down and doing the work. I'm hearing he's shortchanging the Warriors in that regard, and he gotta get his act together." So this was kind of surprising because no one has really heard in the media about Jonathan Kaminga, lacking any effort or not training hard enough. So this came to a surprise, and you haven't heard any of Golden State Warrior other players, whether that's Steph, Klay, or other players that maybe Kaminga is close to, say anything like this in any manner. So it came to a surprise to a lot of us. Stephen A. Smith had this to say, and also Jonathan Kaminga semi-responded by posting a photo of him working hard at the gym, but whether or not, I don't think this is actually true. I think Stephen A. Smith is just trying to get his story. No one has ever come out talking about Kaminga, even any of his teammates saying that he is a bad player or he doesn't work hard enough in the gym. So for someone who doesn't even play with him to say stuff like this, I honestly think it's ridiculous. The NBA is definitely getting scared of the Golden State Warriors. They don't want them to get any better, and maybe he's just trying to start up drama for Kaminga to not maybe perform as well, or for the Warriors maybe to trade him. But it's definitely not going to work. I think Kaminga is going to be a great player, especially this season with JTA, Otto Porter, and Gary Payton II leaving. If you don't remember, last season he put up some pretty good stats for the amount of minutes he was getting. So he actually averaged 9.3 points, 3.3 rebounds, and 2 assists per game last season, which I think is fantastic. He's 6'6", 210 pounds, great player. He plays that power forward position, but I do think he can definitely play, a small center or even that small forward position, if he really wanted to. So I think honestly, Kaminga is in a great spot. This year is going to be exciting for him with a bigger role along with other players as well. But when it comes to what Stephen A. Smith had to say, I think it is completely false. Jonathan Kaminga is going to be a great player, especially this season coming up. So let's get into the second story, and the second story is a new signing for that 15th roster spot that has actually entered the window, and that player that may be signed by the Golden State Warriors is Trevor Ariza. So as you all know, prime Trevor Ariza is honestly fantastic. We all remember him from his Laker days. Now he is 37 years old, so he is a little bit on the older side, but I think his experience, and especially veteran experience, will actually help this team a lot. Now Trevor Ariza, I think, is a great player, not only on offense but on defense. He is such a great defender, and that's what he really provided for the team of Lakers during his peak with Kobe and all of that. He was a 3-and-D type guy. His inside game is pretty well, but he does stand at 6'8", 215 pounds, and he was a small forward. So you don't remember, but back in the day, guys, not even that too long ago, probably in the 2010 era and also even the 2000s, small forwards were around 6'6" to 6'9", and then power forwards and centers were starting to hit that 7-foot area. So Trevor Ariza is a big small forward, especially in today's NBA. So I think it is really going to help him, especially when he's out there on the court getting some game time. Now, last season, he for the 2021-2022, he was actually a part of the Los Angeles Lakers, but he barely got any minutes. However, guys, he still averaged 4 points and also got 3.4 rebounds and 3 assists. So he put up some pretty good stats for someone who's only averaging 11 minutes per game. And I think, Trevor Ariza would be a great fit for the Golden State Warriors. Honestly, that last 15th roster spot isn't going to be getting, 20-30 minutes per game, but what he's going to be providing for the team is honestly really good, and I think, Trevor Ariza is that player. Great veteran experience. He also has championship experience playing with Kobe and all of that in the Lakers back in the day, and, prime Trevor Ariza was honestly really, really good. So I think this would be a great pickup from the Golden State Warriors. Besides DeMarcus Cousins, who I absolutely love and I think they should sign as well, I think think Trevor Ariza would probably be my second. Yes, he may not be a big man or anything like that, but I think Trevor Ariza can provide some great, 5 to 10 minutes off the bench. Also, teach the team, especially with his championship DNA in him, on how the LA Lakers did it back in the day and how they won those championships. So, very good to see, other players, I guess, in the limelight. So it is looking more and more like Andre Iguodala is joining that coaching staff, which is honestly fascinating to see. But I think this was a great idea, and I think Trevor Ariza would be great for the team. But let's get into the third story, and the third story is actually a signing from the Golden State Warriors, who signed Jerome Robinson to a training camp deal this week, and where he went 13th overall to the Clippers in 2018, and now he's hoping to be the Dubs' 15th man. So this guy's also fighting for the 15th spot, so they are going to be giving him a bit of a deal. Now, I think it is honestly interesting. Jerome Robinson, I haven't heard too much about him until, he was actually mentioned, to be signing with the Golden State Warriors. And by the way he looks, I honestly think he is great when it comes to what he can provide for this team. He really does a lot on the floor, especially at his position. I think he's very crafty around the ring, which is fantastic to see. And obviously, guys, the most important thing to me is obviously his IQ. I think he has great IQ, not only, on defense, but also on offense as well. He's a great defender. He really knows how to move his feet, get in front of the defender. And I think really, when it comes to actual, ability on defense, it really comes down just to effort and also, IQ as well. And you can definitely see Jerome is giving that effort everywhere he goes. So in the 2020-2021 season, he was actually playing for Washington, where he actually averaged 4.9 points, 2.3 rebounds, and 1.5 assists. So, like I've mentioned always before, the minutes that he was playing was only around 11 minutes per game, so it wasn't too much. I think where he does lack a little bit is actually the three-point shot. And obviously, that's something the Golden State Warriors live and die by. So for them to actually get someone who isn't a three-point shooter, I thought was very, very interesting. But it isn't a complete deal just as of yet. I think they are testing it out, but I think he is honestly really, really good. He's a shooting guard, 6'4", 190 pounds, great size, great athleticism. And, with that 15th roster spot, he's probably not going to be getting, like I said, 15, 20 minutes per game. But I think the little minutes he can provide is still very, very important. So Jerome Robinson, I think, is a great pickup. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this pickup as well. All right, so story number 4 is where it gets super interesting, because there was actually rumors about this trade, and we're going to get into whether I think this is true or not in a little bit, but it was actually trading Andrew Wiggins for Harrison Barnes and a bunch of first-round picks. So this was honestly an insane trade after Andrew Wiggins put up such a great performance, and it was probably second in running in finals MVP. So to get Harrison Barnes, don't get me wrong, Harrison Barnes played great for the Golden State Warriors when he was in the team. He really provided a lot. Now he plays for the Sacramento Kings, 6'8", 225 pounds. He actually averaged 16 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 2.4 assists. So he put up some pretty good stats for the Sacramento Kings. And obviously, if they trade Andrew Wiggins, they could get Harrison Barnes, maybe a couple of other players in the Sacktown, and also maybe a couple of draft picks as well to look to the future. However, you are giving up Andrew Wiggins, who just put such a great performance on last season, not only in the playoffs, but throughout the whole season in general. Now, playoffs is definitely where he shined, but even in the regular season, he still averaged 17.2 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists per game. So he was putting up some insane stats, definitely really, really good stats for a Batman or Robin role when it came to Steph Curry being the star player, and also, Andrew Wiggins and maybe even Klay Thompson being that right-hand man. But Andrew Wiggins for Harrison Barnes, I honestly don't see that as a smart trade for the Golden State Warriors. I love Harrison Barnes. Back when he was in Golden State Warriors, he was one of the greatest corner shooters I have ever seen during that time. He was knocked down three-pointer, and I absolutely loved it. On defense, he was really, really good. But nowadays, Andrew Wiggins is that Harrison Barnes that he was back in his peak. So Andrew Wiggins, I would not trade him for Harrison Barnes. No disrespect to HB, but I think Andrew Wiggins is now the better player out of the two. And also, he is going to provide more during the long run when it comes to, what Golden State Warriors are trying to build. So obviously when Steph, Klay, and Draymond get a little bit older, Wiggins is probably going to be that older superstar in that team, and he'll probably be the main guy. So I think it's great to keep someone like Andrew Wiggins. So Andrew Wiggins is actually a little bit shorter than HB. He's actually 6'7", 197 pounds, but I think, his athleticism really does make up for it. We all know how athletic Andrew Wiggins is, and he's definitely going going to do it again next season. So story number 5 is the NBA doesn't think the Golden State Warriors young core and also the new signings can keep up and fill the shoes of the departure of JTA, Otto Porter, and Gary Payton II. Now, I honestly don't think this is true. The young core is finally getting that step up and are finally getting the minutes they deserve. I've always thought Kaminga, Wiseman, Moody, they are such great players, and now is their opportunity to actually show that, and I think they are going to do a great job. On top of that, the signings they have made this year in Dante DiVincenzo, also other players such as JaMychal Green, Mac McClung, they will honestly be such great players for that second unit. I remember when Gary Payton II, JTA, and also Otto Porter, when they joined the team, no one thought they were going to be that vital for this roster, and now when you saw them in the NBA playoffs, they were, doing such a good job. And I think that's the same when it comes to these new signings and also this young core. No one thinks they're going to be any good. People think they're going to be, all right, or maybe just subpar, but I'm telling you, Golden State Warriors, they know how to develop a player. Steve Kerr knows how to coach these players, and they're playing with some of the greatest shooters alive, and also, a really great defender in Draymond Green. So I'm telling you right now, they are going to have no trouble being able to adapt to the more minutes they are going to be getting, and also playing more in the spotlight. So, when it comes to the young core, Jordan Poole, we got Moses Moody, Jonathan Kaminga, James Wiseman, they are honestly going to be great. I think, it's finally time for them to, step up, get those, extra minutes that they deserve, and see what they can do with it. And they also have other vets that they have signed in Dante DiVincenzo, JaMychal, and all that. So, guys, let me know down in the comments what you think of all these stories. Which ones do you like? Which one do you not like? Which one you think are going to happen or not going to happen as well? So, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon. Peace.